Even more cards have been revealed today for the mini set. A bunch more dual class cards were all revealed by Bunny Hopper, Funky Monkey, and Arihun. So let's go check these out. The first one we have is another remixed card. So it's going to have 4 different potential cards that it can kind of alternate between, or different effects. And this is a Shaman card, Remixed Totem Carver. It's a 3 mana 3/2 and will always be a 3/2. And it does gain that extra effect. So the 4 different options for additional effect that it will cycle through are all 4 of them are battle cries, and they'll each summon different totems. So you have Blazing Totem Carver that will summon a Flame Tongue totem. And so that's going to obviously increase the stats, because if you play this, the Flame Tongue will then be summoned next to this Blazing Totem Carver. The other one is Bluesy Totem Carver, and this one will summon the 0/3 Mana Tide Totem. So pretty interesting there, maybe some additional card draw. The third one is Loud Totem Carver, and this one will summon a 0/3 Stereo Totem. So you'll get some additional stats. And then you have the Karaoke Totem Carver that will have the battle cry to summon a 0/4 Jukebox Totem. So very interesting here, summoning multiple different variations of some different totems. This is kind of neat, I think. This one might be okay if you're trying to run some sort of like totem shaman deck where maybe you don't even really care which totem you get, but just having an additional totem can help you out. And a lot of these, you'll get some sort of effect regardless of which one it is. So this one actually seems pretty cool. I like this one a lot. And I think just the addition of getting that extra totem, the extra body, is probably going to be pretty helpful for Totem Shaman. These next 2 are Shaman and Warrior dual class cards. The first one is Jam Session. It's a 2 mana fire spell. Give a friendly minion +3/+3. Deal 1 damage to all other minions, and it has 1 overload. Okay, so this one is really interesting. There's kind of a lot going on here. So you get to buff a friendly minion. You're dealing 1 damage to all other minions, which could include your own minions. And it's a fire spell. This, especially right now, seems incredibly good for Warrior and that fire enrage Warrior, because there's a lot of synergies with dealing damage to your stuff. There's synergies with playing fire spells, and you get a buff. So this one seems incredibly good for Warrior. I'm not sure if it does have as much of an impact right now in Shaman, but still being able to give +3/+3. Maybe you want to play this in Overload, like an Overload Shaman deck. Maybe there's some synergy there, but I definitely think that this one is going to be used in Warrior right now way more than it will for Shaman. And the other Shaman Warrior dual class card is Backstage Bouncer. It's a 4 mana 4/5 beast with Taunt and Battle Cry. Transform a friendly minion into a copy of this. Okay, this one, again, pretty interesting. It has that beast tag, so you could use this in a menagerie style. It has taunt that maybe, again, they're really trying to add a lot of taunt stuff. Maybe a taunt warrior can be possible at some point. They're really trying to make it work. This could certainly help with that. But also, I think in Shaman, just turning a totem, using your hero power and then being able to transform one of your maybe potentially worthless totems into a 4/4 taunt seems pretty nice. I'm not sure if that will want to be used right now in Shaman or not. Maybe a control style Shaman could just take advantage of this, but this one seems okay. I don't think I like this one quite as much as the other 2, but it seems fine. Then we have a couple of Mage Hunter dual class cards. The first one is Costumed Singer. It's a 1 mana 2/1. At the end of your turn, draw a secret. Okay, well, we did see another Hunter secret revealed, so being able to get an end of turn effect that you're guaranteed to get once the turn that you play this. Draw a secret, sure. Maybe that's enough of a payoff to run secrets. I'm not really sure if that's enough of a payoff for Hunter secrets right now, but maybe there is some use for this. This one, unfortunately, does not have any type of tag. There's no minion type on it, so it's just for secrets. Right now in our current meta, I think Secret Mage might be a little bit better positioned to use something like this than Hunter would. It's at least a specific draw, and you get a little body with it, so maybe it's pretty decent. The next Hunter Mage card that we have here is a spell, Star Power. It's 5 mana, and it's an arcane spell. Deal 5 damage to a random enemy minion. Repeat this with 1 less damage. So it's going to deal 5 damage to a random minion, then it's going to deal 4 damage, then it's going to deal 3, then it's going to deal 2, then it's going to deal 1. We've already seen this effect in Hunter, and it's a pretty great effect. It does not hit your opponent's face, it will only hit minions, but this is also an arcane spell, which honestly there has been Hunter stuff that works with arcane. You can potentially buff that, and there is synergy with mage for arcane spells. So this one seems pretty good, and that is a hefty amount of board clear potential. It's not maybe necessarily quite as good as some other class removals, but there are still some combinations that you can use with this. Maybe being able to cast this twice against larger things, or, getting, like I mentioned, that added spell damage for the arcane spell in Hunter. So there still is something there. And again, it's a decent amount of damage, so maybe it does still help you clear up boards. Seems pretty nice. And if there's only 1 or 2 minions, this damage, all of it is going to end up going to those 1 or 2 minions on the other side of the board. Could actually be used in either class. And then we have another remixed card here. This one is for mage only. It is a 4 mana 4/4 mech called Remixed Dispensobot. And it does gain that extra effect in your hand that changes every turn. So those 4 are the Mystery Dispensobot, which has a battle cry, get 2 random mage secrets. You have the Merch Dispensobot with a battle cry, get 2 random mechs. You have the Money Dispensobot, which has a battle cry, get 2 coins. And then the Chilling Dispensobot, which is a battle cry, get 2 random frost spells. This one I honestly really like. The fact that this is already a mech, I think honestly getting 2 mage secrets, getting 2 random mechs, getting 2 coins, or getting 2 frost spells, any of those you might actually be happy with as a mage. Being able to find some random frost spells, cool. Those are usually some sort of damage or clear that you can use. 2 mechs, well, this is already a mech, so if you generate a magnetic, you could magnetize onto this. The getting 2 coins, those count as spells or just allow you to do an additional thing. There's some pretty cheap stuff like rewind, or being able to just kind of use this coins like maybe whenever you really need them in a mage seems pretty great. And then the getting 2 mage secrets, mage secrets are not terrible. They're pretty decent, I would say, especially right now. There's a pretty limited pool of mage secrets, so that's not terrible. I honestly think that this one is pretty solid. So far, I think that this, and then maybe this is probably at the top of the remixed cards for me, because I think all of these options actually are pretty great and suit what you would want to be doing in mage. The second best would be that shaman one that we saw. And then moving into our next set of dual class, we have Rogue Priest, and we have 2 of those. We have Plagiarizer. It's a pirate. It's a 3 mana 4/3 pirate with battlecry. Get a copy of the top card of your opponent's deck. This is pretty interesting. I think both Rogue and Priest have had thief stuff, so it makes sense that this is a dual class thing that has like a thief type mechanic. I think right now, Priest probably utilizes that a little bit better than Rogue at this point, but there's also some pretty good pirate stuff in Rogue, and this is pretty aggressively statted in terms of the 3 mana for a 4/3, plus potential pirate synergy as well. And sometimes Rogue can just end up using the cards that you generate and that you copy, so it seems pretty decent. It also is important that this is specifically a copy. It seems like they have maybe moved away a bit from completely stealing cards from your opponent, and it's more just getting copies so that people can still play with the cards that they had put in their deck. I think that was kind of one of those, like, feels bad changes, right? If your opponent is just literally taking your cards, stealing them, they don't have as many effects like that in the game as they did at one point. So pretty interesting to see this one. And the next Rogue Priest card that we have is Deafen. It's a 1 mana shadow spell. Silence a minion, and combo also deal 2 damage to it. This one is really interesting, and I think probably is maybe pretty good in both classes. Silencing a minion seems okay, but this is targeted. You get to pick which minion you're silencing. And for Priest, they have the wideboard silence, but having an additional very specific targeted silence that they can use for cheap is pretty fantastic. And this is another cheap spell for Rogue that they can use to work with other things, a combo, and being able to silence something and deal a little bit of damage to it might allow them to use another spell or something else to either make a trade or, again, use another spell maybe to finish off a minion that might be mid-sized if they get that combo effect. And then the last one we have for today is just a Rogue card. It is called One Hit Wonder. It's a 2 mana 2/1 undead with Rush and combo gain Poisonous. Okay, that seems pretty decent. I'm not really sure about the undead part. Honestly, Rush and Poison, that's a pretty great removal. So yeah, you do have to combo it, but it's only 2 mana, so it seems very likely that you'll be able to play something else and then play this card to get that poison effect. If rogues want some sort of removal like that, especially maybe depending on the meta that they're facing, this actually could be a pretty great removal tool. Oh, what do you think of these cards? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to check out the previous video and see my thoughts on those cards as well. Thank you so much for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next one.